So this is obviously not my normal stream setup. This is temporary while I'm still recovering from surgery. But I did want to record something real quick because I don't have the time or really the energy to do a full-on stream just yet. Now when I do, I don't really have the ability to do full-on stream, but I can sit here for a few minutes to do a quick video. I was initially going to do this as a short, but the problem that I was running into was what I needed to say was longer than what YouTube allows for shorts. So long form video it is. So let's just dive right into it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the comments that I've been getting more recently on my Israel-Palestine and anti-electoralism video, which I will have linked. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about those because I've been getting an uptick in comments recently, probably just because of everything that's going on right now. The escalation in Palestine is causing that video to pop up a lot more for some people. And that's fine and all, but I think that a lot of the comments that I've been getting are kind of missing the point because most of them range from just calling me a genocide supporter to trying to debate me into believing that Joe Biden is doesn't care about Palestinians, which I already agree with. So I kind of want to re-go over some of those points and kind of explain a little bit more in detail of what I actually believe and explain why I think these comments are kind of missing the point and go more into my actual thesis regarding that video, because maybe I just didn't say it clearly enough. At least I'm acting with good faith here, and assuming that it was a communication issue on my part. So to start off, I really don't want to give too much credence to the people who are just saying that I'm a genocide supporter. I'm not. Fun fact, I actually think that Israel is a horrible country. I also think that the state institution of Israel is bad. I'm fully in support of Palestinians. When I'm talking about the anti-electoralism thing and how it relates to Palestine and Israel, I'm talking about this more in practicality terms than I am in morality. Because the problem is you can't apply morality to elections nearly as often as we should be able to. The issue that we're running into is Joe Biden a good candidate for Palestinians? The answer is no. Joe Biden is not on the right side of history when it comes to the Israel-Palestine issue. He has not since the beginning, and I don't think he's going to continue to. However, that being said, being the fact that he is a liberal, and liberals want nothing more than to be liked by everybody, if the majority of people are on the side of Palestine, it's going to be a lot easier to soften him up to that, or to soften a Democratic administration up anyway, than it will be Trump. Before anyone says it, yes, I am just assuming that Joe Biden is going to win the Democratic primary, and I am assuming that Donald Trump is probably going to win the Republican primary, and that those are going to be our options, because I don't see any real chance that we're not going to end up with another Biden v. Trump. Because again, and I this keeps coming up, the third party issue. So I'm just going to say this straight up. If you believe that a third party has any chance of succeeding in the general election, please go to your nearest rehab facility. Get some help. You actually, you need treatment for delusions, because there is not a single chance right now that a third party has. Should you primary Joe Biden? Yes, absolutely. I have never said that we shouldn't be primarying Joe Biden. In fact, I think it's a good thing to primary the current sitting president if the people primarying them are both better than him and also have a decent shot at winning. And right now, I don't see any serious competition with Joe Biden. It's very uncommon for presidential candidates when they're running again to have a lot of challengers from within their own party. Now, if they're particularly bad or something, you'll see that. But for the most part, Joe Biden has not been disagreeable enough as a president to inspire a shit ton of people to try to primary him from the Democratic side. Now, there are some independent and third party candidates. They will not win. They will not win against Joe Biden. They will not win against Donald Trump. There is not a single chance that any of those candidates have to beat either candidate. And it is better for these candidates to run on the major party right now because third party support we just don't have it in the United States. Even if the majority of people want third parties to be able to succeed, the problem is we don't have the structural, the institutional support to be able to allow third parties to succeed. The system is rigged against them. And is that a fault of the system that needs to be fixed? Yes. We are not going to do that by not voting for Joe Biden. It's not going to happen. That is not, those two things are completely different issues. Now, on the subject of why I think that even despite all of the concessions that I have made regarding Joe Biden not being good on the Israel-Palestine issue, despite the fact that I think that other people are more qualified and better as a potential presidential candidate than Joe Biden, despite the fact that I think that we should fight for a world in which third-party candidates have a shot at winning, and also should be able to vote with our conscience, so to speak. Why am I still sitting here skeptical of all of the leftists in my replies and comments and on Twitter and everywhere, just getting mad at anyone who thinks that voting for Joe Biden is the better option than not voting or than voting for Donald Trump? Here is why. I'm going to explain it to you. At the end of the day, I don't find it helpful to be a single issue voter. When I am voting, and when this is what I encourage anyone who is planning on voting to do. When I am voting, I do not look at just one issue. I look at the totality of several different issues, because voting is inherently a harm reduction. If we are not looking at everything, we can have unintended consequences down the line for a lot of different issues because we were only thinking about one. Some of you are going to hear this and say, you're trying to put the lives of Americans above the lives of Palestinians. You just hate brown people. Shut the fuck up. Literally shut the fuck up. Stop with the poll when it comes to, putting the lives of Americans. I'm voting for the American president. Yes, if that's what you want to hear from me, I will own the hard position here and say, yes, I am putting the lives of Americans above the lives of people in other countries because it's my president. I would also expect the same of any other country to put the lives of the people who are as directly affected by their choice above mine. Not to say that those things aren't important, but just that I can't make a presidential decision. I can't make the choice of a president based solely on one issue. And I'm certainly not going to do it when all of the other issues that I can think about with it when it comes to voting for Joe Biden or not voting or voting for Trump. So much of the policy work here in America is going to be impacted by this. The reality is, I don't think we will actually have that much of an effect on the Israel-Palestine issue from the presidential choice, in the sense that if you think that who you vote for in November is going to impact who, whether or not the war continues. No, the war is going to continue regardless. That is not something that we are going to have as much direct impact on. Could we have some impact on it? Yes. I think that Joe Biden is going to have the better chance of being able to be pushed that way than Donald Trump. Again, if you are upset at me for only considering Trump and Biden as the two options here, sorry, but that's just the reality. You're living in a fantasy world if you think that any of the third party or independent candidates are truly threats to either of those two candidates. And if you think that there's even a sliver of a possibility that it could be anyone other than those two, it's not. So I'm thinking, which of these two candidates are better on this issue, Trump or Biden? Both of them are pretty terrible, being frank with you, because the two of them are pretty terrible on this issue. Now I have to go down the flow chart, right? And so the next question I'm going to ask is, which one of them is most likely to be able to be pushed further to my side when it comes to the issue based on lobbying or public pressure or et cetera, et cetera? right? And that is Biden. Trump will not be swayed. I don't know if you all noticed, but Zionist groups love to pay for Republican candidates. You're not going to be able to push the Republicans on this because they are literally the party of like Christian evangelicals that, broadly speaking, think that this is going to start the rapture. And like, no, you're not going to get that from Trump. So failing any of them being good on the issue, who is most likely to be better on the issue and who is most likely to be pushed a little bit further towards my side? And it's Biden. Now, is that a great start for a candidate? No, but now I have to think about literally every other possible option, every other issue: queer rights, trans rights, workers' rights, infrastructure, wages, all of these things, right? All of these issues, Biden is infinitely better on than Donald Trump. People tend to forget because we're like focusing on Israel and Palestine right now. There's actually other genocides going on than just the one in Israel and Palestine. And I know that people are going to be hurt by that, and they're going to do the whole, like, you're putting the lives of blank people above that. Fuck off. I don't care. Right here in America right now, they are trying to implement a trans genocide, which will then snowball into a broader queer genocide is the ultimate goal. And Biden is infinitely better than Trump on that. Is he great? No. But Trump will actively like participate in the genocide, and Biden will be like tepidly supportive towards us. And tepid support is a whole hell of a lot better than actively pushing it along. And there are going to be people who disagree with this take. There are going to be a lot of people. In fact, I expect that a lot of the comments on this video are going to be arguing with me about whether or not Biden is good for the queer community, arguing whether or not, Biden is actually like pro-trans or whatever. And I don't care. I don't think Biden is pro-trans. I don't think Biden is pro-LGBT. I think Biden has to be those things in order to play to the base that he has. And that's politics, guys. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And even if his support of us is disingenuous support is fine as long as we get results. And so far, we've gotten at least a few results. Currently, we are facing the looming threat of fascism in America. And I really would like to not end up with the fascist having a second term. And if my option there is to vote for Joe Biden, then I'll do it. I'm not going to entertain the people who are going to say, well, not voting is not going to affect. It literally does. 2016 was evidence of that. Literally, I don't know how to explain this in more simplistic terms. Is your individual vote going to matter? No. In the grand scheme of things, no. But if there are a lot of you who individually choose to abstain from voting or who choose to vote for a different candidate than you otherwise could have voted for, lots of people doing the same thing means that your votes now become more relevant. So in the grand scheme of things, maybe not. If you live in a deep blue state where there has never been a Republican candidate win that state in the last 70 years, and they always win with a 70% landslide, okay, fine. Fuck it. I don't care. If you individually don't do this. If you're like me and you live in a red state, or if you live in a state that flips every so often, yes, your vote absolutely can contribute to the outcome in a very big way. And all of these things matter. All of these issues matter. And I think it is really fucking stupid for us to throw away the potential of pushing back another fascist candidate because of an issue that the choice of those two candidates isn't really going to impact that. And not only that, but like I said, Biden is way more likely to be swayed on these issues than Trump is. I didn't say he would be. I said he's more likely to be, to clear that one up, because I got some of those comments too of trying to put words in my mouth and tell me that I said that Biden can be convinced. And I'm not saying he can be convinced. I'm saying he's more likely to be able to be convinced. The other thing that I want to address with this, the other part of this, is the anti-electoralism bit in and of itself, and why I am going so hard on this. And so I'm going to give you the really spicy take here that you're not going to like. Anti-electoralism is just accelerationism with a new coat of paint. And all of you fuckers wanting to like not vote or vote for third party candidates, even though you know that there's no shot of them winning, and you know that like the Democratic candidate, the Democratic Party, despite the fact that they are not great and do not align with your values, align more with your values than the Republican Party. All of these people in these camps are just doing accelerationism under a new coat of paint with new marketing. And they don't want to admit it because either they don't know or they do know and they know that they can't say it because accelerationism looks worse. All of this is just accelerate. It's literally just we need to make things worse so that that way a revolution will start and things can then get better. Maybe. I don't even think accelerate. Like I don't even believe the main like component of accelerationism. I do not believe that like under the like threat of duress, if we like put all of the worst like pressure on marginalized groups by making the world like by making America essentially like a fascist dictatorship will inevitably cause like the fascist dictatorship to fall because we'll all start a revolution and then win. That might have worked in like the 1920s before technology was as good as it is now, before we didn't have like fucking nuclear weapons and like massive like fucking like instruments of war. Like I really do think a lot of people like a lot of people listen to like that podcast that like forget which one it was. I forget what it was called, but like it went into like detail of like how like the US isn't really all that equipped for like fighting in a lot of the areas of the US, like as evidenced by like historical reading or whatever. And they like internalize that. And the thing is, that's really just not like the case. The United States military is far more powerful than like leftists want to give it credit for because they have to disempower them in order to make people feel like they can take them on. You need to be fucking realistic. I'm not saying that a revolution could never happen in America or that it couldn't succeed or that like somehow we couldn't like take on the US military. But like you're talking about taking on like the world's largest global superpower on their home soil. And you are not going to successfully like start a revolution by allowing fascists to just kill queer people. Like it's not going to happen. And even if it did happen, I think it would be unethical. I legitimately do believe it would be unethical to purposefully make the world worse in order to like invigorate people to start a revolution. I think that is like an unethical use of power. And anti-electoralism speaks to the same goals as accelerationism. It just rebrands it in a way that seems more palatable. You know, by not voting for the candidate, you're sticking it up to you're sticking it to the system. You're proving that the system is fundamentally broken. And no, you're fucking not. You're just increasing the chance that you're getting a worse outcome because you don't like the fact that you don't have a perfect candidate to vote for. And I like this, it's completely batshit insane to me. So yeah, that is like my main thesis. I wanted to respond to these because I've been getting like more comments frequently. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm just getting like 8,000 comments a day or whatever. Like it's not really been that much, but it's just been enough to note this uptick. And it bothers me because it makes me feel like people didn't actually like get the points that I was making in that video. Is Joe Biden good on Palestine and Israel? No. Also, on the other hand, though, Trump is also just as bad, if not worse, and won't be able to be swayed. But Biden has like a bigger chance of being able to be swayed, potentially, maybe. But that chance, I think, matters. And also, Biden is infinitely better than Trump on just about every other issue. And not voting, choosing not to vote, choosing to abstain, or choosing to throw your vote away on a third party candidate or like an independent candidate, like it just functions to have the same goals as accelerationism of making the world worse, to inspire people to like rise up against the system. And it's not going to happen It's just going to make the world worse for marginalized people and then not get the outcome that you want. And I think that that is an unethical decision to make, especially because it's such a gamble. And the odds are like incredibly not in your favor. And you can say that I'm being a genocide supporter right now, to which I say, if you throw your vote away in service of preventing a candidate that is going to potentially be a lot better on stopping or at least halting the progression or slowing the progression of a trans genocide, then you're a genocide supporter too. Like, if we're going down that logic, I don't think either one of these are necessarily true. But if we're going to go down the logic that me saying you should vote for Biden, even though Biden is not good on Palestine, makes me a supporter of the Palestinian genocide, which is fucking insane, by the way, then you not voting for Biden and getting Trump elected makes you a supporter of the trans genocide, like unequivocally, based on that logic. So anyway, I'm not going to ramble forever. I've been sitting too long, but I did want to like make this to kind of address some of these issues, and hopefully I will be able to actually like do maybe a short stream or something soon. I've been thinking about doing like a Patreon stream or like a members only stream on YouTube. I know that like the we don't have really like the members on the tiers for those, but I thought it'd be fun just like an after surgery thing. But anyway, that's all to say. Thank you so much for watching. I hopefully will see you soon. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can become a channel member by clicking the join button, leave a super chat or a super thanks. You can become a patron at patreon.com/SaigeAlexis, or you could donate to my coffee. The link for that will be in the description below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.